Doritos contain an amino acid compound known as monosodium glutamate. This compound creates an umami taste, such as commonly found in soy sauce. According to Shizuku Yamaguchi of the Tokyo University of Agriculture, umami's pleasing taste is best when not consumed in excess, a fine line between not enough and overabundance. But when added in responsible quantities, monosodium glutamate really hits the spot. This was by far the simplest way I could possibly explain my relationship with the video game franchise Call of Duty. But I don't want to focus too much on my personal views of the series. Nobody cares about that. Instead, I want to look at what other people think. In years past, a franchise of hope and whimsy, but for many, that whimsy is now gone. I want to look at why this perception exists, and whether or not the series will soon go away forever. Now, opinions vary from person to person. Some people find Call of Duty consistently entertaining, and some have just never liked it. So I'll be evaluating the broad scope of the core gaming community. A label, that means absolutely nothing. But by going through sales numbers, looking at Google search trends, review scores, and more, it's not hard to decipher how people's perception of the series has changed. So get your tomahawk dog and let's just get started. Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, and Call of Duty 3 Rise to the Call of Duty are World War II shooty gun games. You play as Private Duty, and he answers calls. Look, I'm not going to explain how all this works. You already know the games. I know the games. You shoot, you fight, you look down sights, you run, you gun. Oh wow, so fun. The series was your standard FPS of the early 2000s and had modest popularity. But it wasn't the Call of Duty you see before you today. No, this was a different time, and games were played by different rules. Infinity Ward made the first two, Treyarch made the third. That'll be relevant later. Two studios working side by side on what were effectively Medal of Honor ripoffs. AI calls them like I sees them. The economics and the discourse surrounding these games were nothing special, just an up-and-coming franchise that showed promise. And I'm sure most of you have never played these early games anyway, so let's just get to... This is when the series became a bona fide juggernaut in the industry. Every new release was greeted with both massive critical and commercial success. Everybody bought them, everybody loved them. Playing Prestige, Kill the Zombies, Screaming Lobbies, it felt like you were a part of something bigger. More than just another game, it was a cultural event. This was a part of your life, at least if you were in that 10 to 25 age demographic at the time. Single player campaign was great, yeah, come on, but most people buy these games for online competitive action, the multiplayer. An addictive cycle of progression prevails throughout these games. Play matches, complete challenges, get weapons, attachments, and play more matches. Sounds pretty basic nowadays, but back then, oh, this was the bee's knees. The game sold like sweet rolls. The franchise could do no wrong. Sure, you had some hipsters giving the game 1s and 2s on Metacritic, but come on, that just comes with any game that's massively popular. Oh yes, the future was bright. What wonderful experiences would grace our open arms. And then this happened. Vince Zampella and Jason West, two of the founders of Infinity Ward, are fired. The reason? Breach of contract and insubordination. Yeah, this sounds fishy. Very fishy. Soon after, half of the entire Infinity Ward staff resigns. As you may expect, losing half of your employees is not particularly great, especially considering that this studio was on top of the world at the time, creating a series with unprecedented success. Sinister forces were working against our heroes, and our villain? His name is Bobby. Bobby is a little boy who resides as CEO of a small money-making venture called Activision. Activision happens to own Infinity Ward. Infinity Ward was promised a percentage of the profits that their games sell. The more money the game makes, the more money Infinity Ward takes. Seems fair enough. Modern Warfare 2 sold very well and made lots of money. This is good. Money good, said Bobby with childish glee. But when Bobby needed to share his new presence with Infinity Ward, he got mad. No, screeched Bobby. My toys, my fun. You don't need more money. And then the legal cases of Zampella and West versus Activision and Infinity Ward employee group versus Activision presides in court. Half that staff of Infinity Ward went on to make Titanfall with EA. And yeah, as with any legal mumbo jumbo, we can't ever be 100% sure of what went down, but considering that, well, they're Activision, I would never, ever give them the benefit of the doubt. But most COD fans were not too concerned over all this stuff. They were more focused on the upcoming Stimulus Package DLC. It was, gasp, $15 for only 5 maps. Doesn't sound too bad nowadays, but trust me, back then this was seen as just an atrocity of the highest nature. Nowadays $15 just gets you the chance to win a stupid skin. What a wonderful dystopia we find ourselves in. Well, old Bobby Boy still wanted a new Call of Duty out ASAP. Yeah, sure, half of Infinity Ward is gone, but who cares? As far as Bobby and Activision could see, the only way forward was MW3. Sledgehammer Games was brought on to help out the remaining employees get something done. Supposedly at this time, Sledgehammer was working on some action game in the Call of Duty universe. But yeah, that was canned. Modern Warfare 3 was out by the end of 2011, right on time. I'm sure development on that project was just a joyful experience. You feel good about yourself, Bobby? You fucking little troll man. And considering all that, Modern Warfare 3 worked out pretty okay. It was just fine. Didn't add a lot, wasn't no game changer, but wasn't too bad considering what went down with Infinity Ward just a year earlier. But the average consumer wasn't impressed by this feat. No, they saw it as a repackaged MW2, a cash grab. Yeah, that sentiment would not go away anytime soon. Paint on a new skin, pop in a couple modes, bang boom, straight to the moon. This unfortunate development is where the stigma of Call of Duty doesn't change really began to be quoted by the masses. And again, we got Black Ops 2 again, it's Treyarch, it's just great, people really liked it. Some fans were growing a bit tired of these yearly installments. And if I've learned anything from looking at Activision's past, oversaturation is never a good thing. It was just mutterings at first, the occasional dissent against what was popular at the time, but soon negativity towards the franchise spread. Those that had a bone to pick with the franchise would find it, a skeleton in the closet, a ghost that could ruin it all. Call of Duty Ghosts, a fitting name since many consider this the moment the series died. Rather than being the spooky Halloween-themed romp we all expected, it was peak stagnation at its finest. But why didn't people like it? Infinity Ward was up to bat once more and hadn't entirely recovered from its recent internal conflicts. Sledgehammer Games was no longer assisting in the development, and it showed. The game looked dull, stale, more of the same. The graphics looked dated, especially considering major competition was arriving at the same time with Battlefield 4. But after the game launched and received pretty mixed reviews, the popularity of COD started to weigh on the franchise. Many question why this mediocre game was deserving of so many sales, why this franchise wasn't moving forward, but the negativity of the community would only grow. It seemed like if they changed too much of what made the series work in the first place, it would anger longtime fans. But if you didn't change enough, it also angered longtime fans. And then this trailer dropped.
You seen that? All available assets immediately.
Infinite Warfare. To this day, its reveal remains the most disliked trailer of any media product on YouTube. And why? Well, people felt the series was too far removed from what made it good in the first place. So I guess the way forward was to go back. Call of Duty went back to its roots, and COD World War II and Black Ops 4 Rise of the Guardians got rid of some of the more fantastical elements that were introduced. But then complaints rose once again of more of the same from the franchise. I don't think there's any way to fix this dissent other than Activision simply taking a long break from the series. But they won't. It makes too much money. Simple as that. Now, Modern Warfare is the 2019 Call of Duty. Looks good from what I've seen, but nobody's really seen a lot, to be fair. But people must be excited. It was the top-selling pre-order following E3 2019, whereas in 2018, Blops 4 was getting beat out by Dead Island 2. This is very interesting, especially since so little of Modern Warfare has actually been shown off. I'll have to wait and see what the final sales numbers are, but it's entirely possible this is what COD needed to make a short-term comeback. Let's look at some of the economic fluctuations of the series for a bit of insight where the franchise might be heading. You see, Activision isn't just Activision. Activision merged with Blizzard in 2008, a time where both companies were in a seemingly better position, both in the eyes of gamers and their continued relevance. Activision had the phenomenon of Guitar Hero under its control. Tony Hawk was one of of the most successful franchises of the decade, and Call of Duty was just hitting its stride. Blizzard was held with only the highest regard, with top-tier releases and the continued support of World of Warcraft. Well, effectively every franchise Activision had going for it died with a whimper, except for COD. Activision got Destiny, lost Destiny, the Spyro and Crash remakes sold very well, but they've already gone through those classics. The occasional hit can't maintain an entire company, so it's pretty lucky for them that they have Blizzard and King to keep them afloat. Oh yeah, Activision bought mobile gaming giant King back in 2016. Going through the Activision Blizzard financial reports, I noticed a few interesting details. First off, King makes a lot of money. In most quarters, Blizzard and King both make more money than Activision proper, except for in Call of Duty releases. For my math, 51% of the entire corporation's total revenue comes from microtransactions. These things, these skins, these weapons, these Candy Crushes, they make up a majority of the company's gains. Frankly, it's a sad but true reality of the AAA games market in 2019. But even considering the optimism surrounding Modern Warfare, the series might not be completely on track just yet. Recently, it was reported by Jason Schreier of Kotaku that COD 2020 is having a good bit of development troubles. So apparently their project was just cancelled. But instead of having that yearly break, Treyarch's planned 2021 game will be pushed forward 1 year to fill the gap. The future project is likely Black Ops 5, Cold War setting, blah blah blah. Not too much is known, but cutting development time a full year is never great for any project. Call of Duty still sells. It's not going to die this year, or likely next. I look to the future of the series with hopeful optimism. If Modern Warfare sells well and Black Ops 5 isn't atrocious, maybe people can come together and say, these games are fine. I can only hope that the right people make the right decisions. Activision has killed off too many good franchises, and I don't want to end up with another Guitar Hero situation. A franchise once on top of the world, only to become completely and utterly irrelevant. This is Tyler of Knowledge Hub.